Last one in the series, solving logarithmic functions. I'd like to take some time to find an inverse hyperbolic function. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with this function right here, and I'm going to first off by solving x in terms of y. So I'm going to try to get x by itself, and that's a mess, I think. I mean, it is to me. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply here. So I'm going to look at this like this, and I'm going to cross multiply this way and then this way, and that should give me this, shouldn't it? So let's just take a look. So here's my first change. I'm going to get y times e to the x plus e to the, and you know what, this, I'm going to take this, if you don't mind, I'm going to call this 1 over e to the positive x, because we know we're allowed to do that, right? Because it'll make the next step more obvious. And 1 times 2 is just 2, so that's where we got this 2 here. All right? So now I'm going to multiply by the least common denominator, right? This has a denominator of 1, denominator of 1, a denominator of e to the x, and here a denominator of 1. So the least common denominator is e to the x. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by that. And I mean the whole thing by e to the power of x, which will give us y to the e to the x times e to the x plus y e to the x over e to the x is equal to 2 e to the x. I'm going to go ahead and simplify a little bit here. E to the x over e to the x is just 1, and y over 1 is just y, so that cleaned up nicely, didn't it? Now, these two, this gives me y e to the 2x, because x plus x, right, is 2x plus y is equal to 2 e to the power of x. Now, if you look at this carefully, it's kind of weird, but if you look at it, what we have here is a quadratic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything over, right? So I'm going to set this up as a quadratic, so I'm going to subtract 2e to the x from both sides and get y e to the 2x minus 2e to the x, that's me moving this one over, plus y is equal to 0. Here's where it just turns into algebra, and some people are going to freak out, but it's just algebra here. I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So quadratic formula here to finish this up, right? And if you remember the quadratic formula, it says that x is equal to the opposite of b, right? You're doing good, plus or minus, right? B squared minus 4ac all over, good, 2a. I can almost hear you saying in your head, the question is, are you okay with the fact that a is equal to y, b is equal to negative 2, and c is also equal to y? A, b, c. So the opposite of negative 2 is 2, because it says the opposite of b, so the opposite of negative 2 is 2. Negative 2 squared, right? Squared. A is y, c is also y, a is y. You just fit the right, just filling in the blanks right now. I'm going to go ahead and simplify this up a little bit more and get x is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times y is 4y, but y times y is y squared, all over 2y. I'm going to do a little bit of algebra inside of this piece right here, and I'm going to factor out a 4 here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take this out for a second. I'm going to just do some factoring inside the radical. I'm going to take out this 4 and say it's 4 times 1 minus y squared, isn't it? Now, remember this rule, the product, the square root of the product of a times b is the same as the square root of a times the square root of b. Why am I telling you that? Because I'm going to pull out the square root of 4, and I want you to know where I was getting that from. So I have x is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of 4 times the square root of 1 minus y squared all over 2y. Right? Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on, man. That's just a ton of stuff going on. If you're still with me, you're something else. Square root of 4 is 2. Now, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and factor out a 2, because there's a 2 here and a 2 here. So I'm going to say x is equal to 2 times 1 plus or minus 1 times the square root of 1 minus y squared all over 2y. Why did I do that? Can you see it? Right, because I'm going to be able to get rid of this and this, right? So it's going pretty good, I think. So that's where I left off. I should have been writing this way, because this is e to the x and this is e to the x, right? And somebody caught me on that. Who was it? Whoever you are, let me know. You're smart. You're really good. So to get rid of it, I have to take ln, don't I? I'm going to have to take ln of both sides. I take ln of both sides. So ln of e to the x is equal to ln of 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus y squared all over y. Well, we know that ln of e to the x is just x. So x is equal to ln of 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus y squared all over y. We're almost done, I swear we are. Now we're just going to switch this, right? We're going to say that y, because we're going to take the inverse, y is equal to ln of 1 plus or minus square root of 1 minus x squared all over x. And my gosh, that's my final solution. I hope that was helpful. It's good for you. It's good for your brain. It's really, really good for your brain. Hey, if you're already subscribed, thank you. If not, please subscribe. Your comments are always welcome, and thank you so much for the support. You could even like this video. That'd be fun.